Hey, I'm Olavi Mikkonen from Amon Amarth, and you're listening to the FANTASM podcast.
Phantasm.
Maximum terror.
Oh! That's your target audience, baby!
Phantasm.
And you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
Phantasm.
Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal!
Phantasm.
Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
Hi, this is Dr. Vincent West, medical doctor with the FANTASM podcast, and no words for this. Super excited. We have Olavi Mikkonen from Amon Amarth, and we're going to be talking about their new album, The Great Heathen Army, and it comes out August 5th on Metal Blade Records. Sir, how are you doing, and thank you so much for doing this.
I'm good. It's a beautiful day in Sweden, so yeah. All good.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for doing this. And let's jump right into this great album. Get in the Ring. What can you tell us about the first track on the album?
So, Eric Rowan, the wrestler, he got in touch with us and asked if we wanted to do a new entrance song to him.
Awesome.
And we've known Eric for a while, and So we thought that would be an amazing idea, and we told him that we definitely want to do it, but we're not going to just write something really super fast or whatever. I mean, we needed to really think about it and to make it as great as possible. So we told him that it might take some time, but eventually we're going to make a song. And I think he asked us quite a long time ago. And whenever we felt we had the right riffs and music that kind of fits an entrance song, so to say, then we kind of sort of put it together. So yeah, that's a really cool one. I mean, obviously the lyrics are, there's a Viking theme to it too. But,
nice. So
it's kind of like a blend in. So it is kind of a Viking theme, but it will also fit him as a wrestler.
That's perfect. It's a hell of a way to kick the album off, too. Of course, Eric Rowan, he's a professional wrestler. It's amazing. I've seen, as a wrestling fan, I've seen him wear your all shirts and stuff in the ring.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a metalhead. So it's not only Amon Amarth t-shirts he wrestles with. I mean, he's using other metal bands' t-shirts as well. But, yeah, he's awesome. And he's a really nice guy, and yeah, we're totally honored.
It's amazing. It's a great way to kick this record off, too. And then track 2, the title track, Great Heathen Army. What can you tell us about that one?
I personally think it's a little bit different to what we usually have done. I mean, I think there's some riffs there that are really different to what a normal Amon Amarth song would be. But I mean, it's a heavy track, and it's not really fast, but it's really aggressive in a way, in another way, so to say, with the heaviness. And also the lyrics are quite brutal. It's about the Viking invasion in England, pretty much, and that was pretty much what ended the Viking era. But yeah, it's a brutal song, but without being fast. I mean, it's almost like a tank, you know, just fucking rolls over.
Yeah, it's a killer track. And then track 3, Hydron.
Hadron.
Oh, Hadron.
About, Hadron. Hadron is the goat that stands on the roof of in Valhalla. She stands on the roof there, and she provides meat to all the fallen warriors, so to say. And every night, they're sitting there and eating and drinking mead that she produces. So I mean, that's a kind of funny character in Viking mythology. So we thought we're gonna, you know, sort of do like almost like a drinking fun song, and it's, you know, it's not to be taken too seriously, because obviously there's even a goat in the song, but it's a very catchy and a fun song.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a fun track. And then track 4, Odin Owns You All.
Odin Owns You All is probably the most brutal song on the whole album. It's a really fast one too. I mean, I think it's might be one of the fastest songs we ever recorded, at least when it comes to the tempo and the kick drums. So yeah, it's a really aggressive and brutal, in your face, and the title, I mean, Odin Owns You All, pretty much says it all. I mean, where do you go from there?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Let's see, track 5, Find a Way or Make One.
I would say that's kind of like Amon Amarth's take on a classic heavy metal song, so to say. I mean, the riffing is very heavy metal orientated, and the lyrics are about. I think it's something that everybody can kind of relate to, in a way. I mean, it's like finding a way to overcome whatever obstacles lie ahead of you, so to say.
Excellent. Yeah, it's first half of the record's killer. Just every song. Let's see, and we'll go right into track 6, Dawn of the Norseman.
So, Dawn of the Norseman, I would say that song might be the most classical Amon Amarth on this record. It's you know, it's not really. I mean, there's an acoustic part in the midsection, and we usually don't do too much of that. But when it comes to the rhythm and the riffs, I would say it's very traditional Amon Amarth. And the lyrics is about the attack on Lindesfarne. That was probably one of the first Viking attacks in the Great Britain. And it's the first monastery in Lindesfarne that the Vikings attacked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one really does sound like classic Amon Amarth to me. That one, I like that one a whole lot. Track 7, Saxons and Vikings.
So, Saxons and Vikings, that's our collaboration with the band Saxon. We actually have Biff Byford singing the Saxon side, and then we have Johan Hegg, our singer, singing the Viking side.
That's amazing.
And the thing here is that it's not like Vikings beating the shit out of Saxons. I mean, this is an equal song, so nobody really wins. And it's like, you know, it's kind of like, I think the mid-section where Biff and Johan, they kind of like have an argument with each other. It's almost like they're battling with words instead of swords. So, yeah, it's a really cool song. And also the guitar solos are made by Saxon, Doug, and Paul. So, yeah, we actually had an idea for this for many years, that at some point it would be cool to make a song about Saxons and Vikings and actually do it together with the band Saxon. So, yeah, this is kind of like a dream come true.
Oh, Saxon's such a great band. Had you guys ever played with Saxon before?
We haven't really, we never toured with them, but we have done a few festivals and we known them. I think the first time we met them was probably in Italy, like 15 years ago, and we were sitting it was a festival and the day before the festival, so we were hanging out in a restaurant and having a good time. So, ever since then, we've been good friends, so to say.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And then track 8, Skoggle Rides With Me.
So Skoggle Rides With Me, I think it's a very melodic song, and I think also tempo-wise it's a little bit different. But obviously the melodies are kind of Amon Amarth-ish. But I think that for me that was probably my favorite song in the demo stage, so to say. I think it's a really, really nice melodic song, and the lyrics are really cool too. I mean, it's about Valkyries that, Skoggle is one of the Valkyries that kind of protects the main character, so to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a cool song.
Yeah, it's that one's a really good one. And then track 9, the final track of the album, The Serpent's Trail.
So I think that's a little different from what we usually done, so to say. I think, maybe not the melodies, but I think the way we actually play the riffs is a little different. And there's a lot of orchestrations that are kind of like, spicing it all up in a way. I think it's a very heavy track, but also very different. And I think Johan is almost like his storytelling in the beginning of the song. So yeah, I have a little different. There's something we're trying some new stuff here.
And as far as the recording process for the Great Heathen Army, can you talk about the writing process and then the recording process with it?
So for us, the writing process wasn't really any different from how we've been writing the last 10 or 12 years, I think. I mean, nowadays we don't really have a rehearsal place, so we all write from home and we have the same studio, so we send files to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how we worked this time around too. I mean, even though there was a pandemic, but in Sweden we didn't really have any restrictions, so it didn't really make any difference for us. If we needed to get together, we got together. But the only I would say different thing was that we didn't really plan to make an album. I think since we were in South America when the shit came over,
right,
and we kind of had to cancel and just try to get home before the airports were closed.
Uh-huh.
So we were kind of like, okay, let's wait and see how this pans out. And our initial plan was to just continue touring where we had left off. And then after a year, we kind of figured that, there's no point for us coming back with an old album. So that's when we kind of decided, okay, let's end the Berserker cycle and start with a new album. So we didn't really plan to make an album, so it's just, we kind of felt we have to. But whenever we started writing, it was just like a normal for us.
Okay.
And then we recorded in England, we recorded with Andy Sneap. And obviously there were still some pandemic issues, but it didn't really affect. But the thing that we did, that he has like a studio in a farm, and we all live in the farm as well. So we kind of isolated ourselves there because we didn't really want to have the virus there. And, if somebody gets it, we have to postpone the recording for a month or whatever.
Sure.
We kind of stuck to ourselves, and that was kind of cool because that's really creative. And Steve, he did a monster job, and he kind of worked around the clock. And because we all took like different turns. I'm a morning guy, so I did the morning shift, so to say, and then Ted or Johan Söderberg did the day shift, and in the evening Johan Hägg was singing. So yeah, it was really good.
Now, how many times have y'all worked with Andy?
This is the third album.
Fantastic. Yeah, he's great. I love what he does as a producer, and you guys match really, really well with him. And
I think what really helps is that we really like him as a person, and he really likes us too, and he actually likes our band too. He's not really into death metal stuff usually, but for some reason he really likes us, and that makes a huge difference. That when it's like, it's actually you honestly like something. I mean, it's not like, obviously with money you can buy whatever you can buy whatever producer you want, but
Sure.
if you really do it because you actually believe it, it's a huge difference. And that's the amazing thing with Andy. But also, like you said, I mean, he's an amazing engineer and producer when it comes to tweak sounds. He knows everything with amps or pedals or whatever. He's just amazing in that. But also he's a great musician himself, so that really helps too.
And just real quick, I meant to lead with this, but I wanted to ask you this as a huge fan. I've been a fan of the band since the beginning. Can you tell me and our listeners out there, when I put this up, how you came to be in Amon Amarth and just your story with that, like how the band came to be like with you?
Well, I think when I was in junior high, I started to play in a band, and there was just different kind of guys. I was the one who always stuck around, and there was different drummers and different bass players. And then in high school, I just continued, and there were different guys too.
Uh-huh.
And by then, I would say like early '90s or something like that. We had this band called Scum. And we made a demo, we played a few local shows. And then I think the thing kind of ran its course. I think the other guys I was playing with, they were not really into it. And then I think it was like summer of '91.
Uh-huh.
Me and an old friend to me, we went to Greece. And the third guy who joined us for a 2-week vacation was Johan Hägg, and that was the first time I met him. So in Greece, we were hanging out at the bar or something, and there was like, people are drunk and singing along to whatever is on their plate. And then Johan started to scream really loud, and he had this really growl, dark voice, and I was really impressed. So I asked him, hey, why don't you try out? And we started Scum. So after the vacation, we got together, we had the rehearsal place left, so it was basically him and me and the drummer. And this was probably 92 I think. Oh shit, do you hear my dogs?
I do hear him, that's cool.
Alright, let's see somebody at the door. So yeah, I have 4 dogs and they get nuts when somebody's around the house.
Oh no, somebody.
Anyway, so whenever he started, that's where when we picked up Scum for real, and then we found Ted, and when Ted joined, we kind of changed name to Amon Amarth. So, and that was probably in '93, almost 30 years ago.
I have been a fan for so long. I'll never forget the first time I saw you guys. You guys were touring with Deicide and Behemoth and somebody else. I can't remember who else was on that tour. And I believe you all were touring, I think you all were touring Versus the World when I saw you the first time.
Behemoth and Deicide. Yeah, that was probably Versus the World, yes.
I've been a fan ever since. I was blown away.
So that was like 2002 or something like
that.
Yeah.
I've been a fan ever since. You guys have never put a bad album out. I went back and bought the back catalog, and it's you guys are just the best. I mean, you guys always put out a great record. I can always depend on Amon Amarth to put out a great metal album, and you guys are just fantastic live. And but back to the new album. So let's talk about this amazing tour you guys have here in the U.S. With Carcass and Obituary and Cattle Decapitation. I'm super excited about that. What can you tell us about that tour?
Yeah, I'm equally excited as you are, and we've been planning this for a long time. I think we were actually... The first plan was to do this on the Berserker cycle, But anyway, yes, I think last time we had the Swedish package. We had Arch Enemy and At the Gates and Grand Magus. So this time around, we thought we're gonna put together the most amazing death metal package we could just think of, and Carcass made equally amazing, and then Decapitation that I think is awesome too. So yeah, I think that's gonna be a real treat for the fans.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then before that, are you guys doing a bunch of festival stuff coming up, or have y'all already been doing shows, or?
No, we haven't done any shows at all. We're going to do a European tour that is starting in the beginning of September.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to tour with Machine Head and the Hollow Effect.
Oh, okay. Machine Head's great. That's a great package for you guys. I'm not familiar with the other band. Are they more like death metal stuff, or?
The Hollow Effect, that's, or Halo Effect maybe it's called.
Uh-huh.
It's the new, it's all, everybody is an old In Flames guy.
Really?
So you have like Jesper and Niklas and Peter and then it's Stanne from Dark Tranquility.
Oh shit.
The first singer in Flames. So it's basically old former In Flames guy. They have a new band and they sound like melodic Gothenburg style death metal. So yeah, they're fucking amazing.
I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds awesome. Well, that's a great bill for you guys.
Yeah.
And as far as the European shows, where all are you guys going on that tour?
It's across the whole Europe.
Oh, okay. Awesome. And then you'll be hitting the States with the Obituary and Carcass and Cattle.
Yes.
Fantastic. And then one last thing I was going to ask you about. Can you talk to me about the cover of the Great Heathen Army?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that when we decided that the Great Heathen Army is going to be the title or the theme of the album, and so we started to bounce ideas what we can do as for cover, and obviously we need to have a huge army because that's what the title is about. It's a huge fucking army.
Right.
So first we thought we're going to have this huge army, but then after a while we were like, why don't we just going to put ourselves into that army? Because, I mean, it is us.
Right.
And then we thought, like, you know, when we grew up with, like, Kiss Destroyer or Manowar, we always thought those covers were fucking amazing when you had actually the band posing. And we thought, you know, that's something we never did before. And, yeah, why not? I mean, we're fucking 30 years into our career. Why can't we have ourselves on a cover for once? So, yeah. That's pretty much what it is. But many people think it's actually a photo, but I mean it's actually it's a drawing, and it's the same guy who's been doing pretty much all our covers.
And have you all worked with him the whole career, or is he just the past few albums?
I think first time he did the Crusher album, and that's the first thing he did.
Oh shit! So that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I think he's been doing all our covers ever since, except for Berserker. That was a different guy.
Okay. Well, this album is absolutely fantastic. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this. I'm a huge fan. It means the world to me for you to do this. The Great Heathen Army from Amon Amarth. It comes out August 5th on Metal Blade Records. Olavi, thank you so much for doing this. I cannot thank you enough. This means the world to me, and I'm a huge fan of the band, and I'll see you somewhere out when you guys come over here on that tour.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I'm happy to hear that you like the album, and I can't wait to see and hear what all the other fans think of it. So, exciting.
I wish you guys all the best, and I hope we can do this again sometime.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you, my friend. Take care.
Phantasm.
And you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.